8 signs that he is a red flag. All right, let's get real here for a second. You're dating someone new and everything seems kind of amazing. He's charming, he's funny, and he just gives the right amount of mystery. But then a little voice in the back of your mind starts whispering something feels off. You brush it aside because everything else feels so great, right? But let's face it, no one wants to think they're falling for a walking red flag. Red flags aren't always like these blaring, crazy, loud sirens. No, they can be very subtle, sneaky almost, and easy to miss when you're caught in the romance, in the beauty of the romance and this attraction towards each other. But ignoring them, I mean, that's a recipe for heartbreak and pain and hurt. So today, I want to break down 8 major, really big red flags you absolutely cannot ignore if you want to protect your heart. Number 1, he speaks very poorly about all his exes. This is a classic red flag, actually, that often gets completely overlooked. When he starts describing every single ex as crazy, psycho, toxic, narcissistic, or whatever, like anything in that regard, it might feel like you're the exception to the rule, but trust me, you're not. If he can't take accountability for his role in past relationships, he's showing you that he lacks a lot of self-awareness. Relationships don't end because of one person was entirely at fault. It's always a mix of dynamics. It takes two to tango. By blaming his exes, he's not just dodging any responsibility, he's literally setting the stage to potentially do the same to you somewhere down the line. If every woman in his past has been the problem, what happens when your relationship hits, some sort of a rough patch? You likely are going to be the next crazy ex in his life. The second one is he overpromises way too early. Does he start planning your future together before you've even finished your, first latte? Maybe he's talking about traveling the world with you, introducing you to his family, calling you the one after like just a couple of dates. Sure, it feels like something out of a rom-com, but let's call it what it is. It's like full-on love bombing, right? Love bombing is when someone overwhelms you with affection and promises to create a really false sense of reality and a false sense of security. And psychologically, it's often about control. They want to have you hooked so deeply into them before you've even had a chance to really see who they are. If it feels like the relationship is moving at warp speed, like way too fast, you need to slow down a little bit and take a closer look. Real healthy love takes a little bit of time to build.
Ladies, stop chasing men. Even when he pulls back or loses interest, or you feel like he's slipping away from you, what you do in that moment can make all the difference between him feeling like you're just like all the other women he's ever met, or it can make him realize and feel you're so unique and special, and exactly the type of woman he wants something real with. Something he wants to build with, causing him to chase you, to invest in you, and prove to you that he is the right man for you. You know, there's this 12-word text message that you can send to a man that gets his attention almost immediately and makes him realize that it was a mistake to pull away from you in the first place. If you want to find out what that 12-word text message is, then I highly recommend you check out this brand new video that I created for you. I linked it in the description below. Just click the link, and now let's go back to the video.
The third point, he avoids any accountability. Here's the thing, no one is perfect, but the way someone handles their mistakes says a lot about their character. Does he have a habit of shifting blame when something goes wrong? Maybe it's always his boss's fault, his friend's fault, or yep, your fault. This behavior, known as deflection, is a major red flag because it shows he's unwilling to take responsibility for his actions. In a healthy relationship, accountability is absolutely everything. If he can't admit when he's wrong now, how do you think he's going to be able to handle real conflict down the line? Spoiler alert, probably not very well. The fourth point, he plays his hot and cold game. One day he's showering you with attention, and then the next he's pulling away like you don't even exist. Does that sound familiar to you? And psychologically speaking, this behavior creates this push-pull dynamic that keeps you hooked. It's like an emotional slot machine. You never know when you'll get the next hit of affection, so you keep investing, hoping for a win. But here's the truth, that's not love, it's just a game. If his attention feels conditional or inconsistent, that's your cue to just like being able to walk away from it. Number 5, he gaslights you. Gaslighting isn't just a trendy buzzword. It's a form of manipulation where someone makes you question your own reality, you know? Maybe he says things like, you're overreacting, or I never said that, even though you know he definitely did. Over time, this behavior can erode your self-trust and leave you doubting your own instincts. So gaslighting is also all about control. And by distorting your perception of reality, he gains so much power in the relationship. He has the authority. And trust me, if someone is messing with your mind, they're not worth your time. Then we have the 6th point. He has a history of short-lived relationships. Let's talk about a pattern here. If his dating history looks like a revolving door or flings, really pay attention. People who jump from one short-term relationship to another one often struggle with emotional depth. They're really great at the honeymoon phase, but have no interest whatsoever. Or maybe they don't even have the ability to go beyond that and to really dive into like what's real. Instead of assuming you'll be the one to fix him, ask yourself if you're okay being just another chapter in his serial dating saga and dynamic. The 7th point, he's overly secretive. Privacy in a relationship is really healthy. Secrecy is not. If he's constantly hiding his phone, dodging questions about his past, or keeping you at like an arm's length from his inner circle, it's a sign he's not being very transparent or fully transparent with you. And this secrecy often points to fear in psychology. Fear of vulnerability, fear of commitment, fear of getting caught doing something he shouldn't be doing. Either way, it's not your job to decode that mystery. If he can't be honest, he's not relationship material. The next point, the 8th, he downplays your achievements. You're telling him about a big win at work, and instead of celebrating with you, he brushes it off, or worse, makes it about himself immediately. This behavior isn't just rude, it's a sign of insecurity. When someone downplays your achievements, it's often because they feel threatened by your success. A good partner lifts you up, not tears you down. If he can celebrate your wins, he's not just a red flag. He's like a whole parade of like red flags. So, with all that said, these 8 signs of big red flags in a man, like you really want to remember, if you're seeing any of these behaviors, trust your gut. You deserve a partner who respects you and values you and builds you up, like I said, instead of tearing you down. Not someone who leaves you questioning your worth and questioning your reality. It's really important because like, if you have experienced this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's so devastating, it's painful, it's hurtful, and at the end of the day, there were probably so many signs way early in the relationship where you've ignored any of these 8 points that I just made, and therefore you ended up in this chaos and in this mess and this internal turmoil where you feel like after you finally get out of it, you need to heal. And sometimes that healing process can take quite some time because you need to first come back to a sense of reality, come back to a sense of like trusting yourself, trusting your gut. I mean, if someone had the power and control for you to question your own instincts to that degree that you allowed them to completely hurt you in painful ways, and you making yourself responsible for that in a way of like, it's your fault, then clearly there's some healing to do, right? And we're coming back to this inner confidence and this inner strength and stability that we really want. And now, once you find that back again, and you're aware of these habits, these patterns, these red flags, these manipulation tactics and whatever, then you can also way faster just step away from this because like, oh my God, I've been there. I see what's happening here. I'm gonna get out of this ASAP, rather than trying to change this man and change the relationship dynamics. You're like, no, I've seen it, I've been there, I've done it, I'm out of here.